So I pulled the car over to the side of the road immediately as I watched a tuff of dirt as he crossed over the median. So I wanted to reclaim the EV record in my Tesla, so we had quite a bit of work done to it. Carbon Revolution sent me the world's only set of carbon fiber rims for the Model S Tesla to set some kind of record with. And Performance Unplugged had lowered the suspension, put some carbon ceramic brakes on it to lower the weight of that really heavy performance Model S. I wanted to set the solo record for an EV cross country. So I got the car all prepped, and I'm setting at the Portofino. We had even did some modified skirts on the back wheel wells to improve, or what we thought was going to improve, the efficiency of the car. We taped and seamed everything with vinyl wrapping and every crack and crevice to give us more efficiency. Studied the algorithms for the charging. And so I was all set and well rested and ready to go. And I was making really good time. Anyone that runs a Tesla knows that the bottom half of the battery charges really fast. So you want to arrive to your charging stations with as minimal amount of charge left on the battery that you feel safe arriving. And that could be 1 mile, that could be 0 mile as you coast in of remaining charge left. And I was coming through New Mexico, and I was doing 136 mile an hour in a 70. And as I was cresting a hill, another officer was coming the other way, and he clocked me. And I quickly looked around. There was nowhere to run. There was no trees, there were no exits, there was no billboards to hide behind. There was nothing to do but pull over and take my medicine. So I pulled the car over to the side of the road immediately as I watched a tuff of dirt as he crossed over the median and slammed on his brakes. And I said, see this dust ball in my rearview mirror? I look around and I see a cold cup of coffee, which was the most god-awful coffee from a service station that I ever got. And I took it and I spilled it on my lap. When the officer came up to me, he was in a rage. I was doing 136 on his freeway in a 70 mile an hour. He looked down at me. He saw that the coffee was all spilled over me, and he says, "What are you doing going that fast?" And I said, "You didn't see the guy in the pickup truck who was running me off the road? I spilt my coffee on myself, and I think I've burnt myself." And he's like, "I need to see your license and registration." I said, "No, really, I think I burned myself. Look." And I started to pull my trousers down a little bit. And he was like, "There's a clinic a little further down the road. Just let me see your license and registration real quick." And I said, "Well, can I get out of the car and change my pants?" And he says, yeah. And I start rummaging through my suitcase to grab some change of clothes. I changed my clothes on the front seat. I took the rest of the coffee and poured it out on the ground because I didn't want him to put his finger in it to see that it was just cold coffee. He came back and handed me my license and registration. He says, "What color did you say that car was?" And I said, "It wasn't a car. It was a pickup truck, and it was white." And he says, "Okay, well, there's a clinic down when you get into Albuquerque. So you get off just about any exit down there, and you'll find medical services." And he let me go. My methodology was when I would pull in to charge, I would set my alarm for about 40 minutes and I would sleep while the car was charging. And when I would wake up and my alarm would go off, the car would be fully charged instead of just halfway charged to get to the next charging station. So I was leapfrogging some of the stations until I got to St. Charles, which is just west of St. Louis. And when I pulled in, I knew something was wrong. The charging handle would not go into the vehicle. To this day, I still think that Tesla was very aware of who I am and the records that I've set and that my car is being monitored. And they saw some of the speeds that I was carrying and they can remotely disable the vehicle. Now, that's just my take on it. I called Tesla. They said, we'll send a tow truck out, tow you to the nearest service station. When it got there, they said that there was a front drive cable that was disabled. There's apparently some kind of fuse that's inside that cable that's not user replaceable, and the whole cable needs to be replaced. I've not heard too many cases of a front drive cable going bad on a Tesla. My guess is that I was disabled remotely for the speeds that I was carrying across the country. That cable took 2 days to get from Tesla, so I checked myself into a hotel in St. Louis and ordered some room service and caught up on some much needed sleep.
Most of us carry around wallets that look a lot more like suitcases than like a toolkit for what we actually need for our day. The Ridge makes a line of wallets and bags that help you to carry exactly what you need and nothing you don't. So leave the junk at home and go to ridge.com/VINwiki and use the code VINwiki at checkout for a discount. Let them know how much you appreciate their support of the VINwiki channel.